Welcome back to this new series on my channel. This one's going to be a little bit of a different one. This one is going to be a very complete beginner, new to yoga series. So the idea is that we're going to go through the breathing techniques, the postures and the alignment really slowly to help you learn the foundation. So it's going to be really slow, really gentle, and we're going to break everything down. So when you're ready, maybe grab yourself a block or a cushion that you can sit on and come to take a comfortable seat. Now this can be with your legs crossed. It can be sitting up higher onto a block if that's more comfortable for your knees. Or your legs can be in any position that feel nice for you to sit in for a few minutes. So when you're ready, we're going to close down the eyes really gently and just place the hands wherever feels comfortable for you. And what we're going to do to start off with is notice how our breath is. And the easiest way to do this is to place one hand on your belly and place one hand on your chest. And really focus on how you're breathing. Feel when you inhale and notice where that comes from. Maybe that's from the chest, or maybe it's all the way down from the belly. Notice if your breathing's quite quick or if it's quite shallow. Maybe you've been stressed, so your heart rate is a little higher. Take one more deep breath in and notice where it comes from. And then exhale out through the mouth and sigh it all the way out. On your next inhale, I want to see if you can breathe a little bit deeper. So we want to take that deep breath in all the way from the belly. So take a big inhale through the nose and feel the belly expand. And then exhale through the nose and let your hand feel the belly contract as you breathe out. Take a few more of those deep breaths. So inhale and let the bottom hand expand as you breathe in. And then exhale out through the nose, letting the belly contract naturally. Don't worry if it feels a bit weird. It can just take a little bit of time to get used to it, even though we breathe every single day. Sometimes with yoga, it can feel really scary or really daunting when you first start. Everyone seems like they know what they're doing, or they know how to do the poses, what they know how to breathe properly. So rather than getting annoyed at yourself today, I just want you to focus on how you feel, not what you can do. I want you to focus on your brain feeling a little bit calmer and you just forgetting about the outside world for a little bit. Don't worry about what you can and what you can't do. That's not the purpose of today. And then bring the palms back down to your thighs or to your lap. Gently flutter open the eyes. We're going to start to take some movement now. So when you're ready, drop your chin down towards your chest. Take it over to the right side. Up to the ceiling. And over to the left. Drop it down to your chest. To the right side. Chin to the ceiling, and then to the left. Drop it down. One more circle in that direction. And then taking it in the other direction, so taking it to the left shoulder, all the way up to the ceiling. the right shoulder and down to the chest. 2 more of those circles. And then come back to center, and you may want to come off your block or your cushion for this next stretch, just so that you're a bit closer to the floor. We're going to keep our spine up straight and place our right hand down to the floor. Inhale to reach the left arm all the way up and take a side bend all along the left side of the body. Keeping both seat bones down and just feeling that gentle stretch. Come back up to center and place the left palm on the floor, taking the right arm all the way overhead for a stretch along the right side of the body. Take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Take an inhale to come back up to center and then drop the palms down by your side. We're going to come into tabletop position now. So that is on all fours. So whichever way is comfortable for you, come on to your all fours position. What we really want to focus on here are 2 things. So we really want to focus on spreading our fingers as wide as we can. We want to press all of our fingertips and our palms down to the floor to give us a really strong and stable foundation. The other thing we want to focus on here is stacking our joints. So we want our shoulders stacked on top of our wrists and our hips stacked on top of our knees. So just check your position. The feet are tucked under, so the toes are pointing towards the back of the mat. Now we're going to take cat-cow now, which is all about spinal movement. So we're going to drop our belly, pushing it down to the floor, sticking the tailbone up to the ceiling, and then drawing our chest towards the sky, pulling our shoulder blades back. And then on the exhale, we're going to tuck our tailbone under, rounding the back, and then pushing all the way up through the shoulder blades, pressing those fingertips in the floor to push your shoulder blades higher. Inhale, drop the belly down to the floor, arching the back and pulling the shoulder blades back to pull the chest up. Exhale, tucking the bum under and rounding the back, pushing the shoulders away from the floor. Inhale to drop the belly towards the floor, look up to the ceiling and pull those shoulder blades back. And then exhale, rounding the back, pushing the floor away from you. You can look towards your belly button here as well if that's comfortable. And then when you're ready, come back to your neutral tabletop position and just sit back on your heels. And we're going to take a quick roll and stretch of our wrists. Just roll them in one direction and then in the other direction to loosen them off. Come back down to your neutral tabletop position. And we're going to extend the left leg out behind us now. You want to keep those toes down onto the floor and keep that left leg really strong and straight. We don't want to collapse it down. We want to push the floor and keep the leg straight. And then just rock backwards and forwards here, pressing back into the toes and the ball of the foot, shifting the weight forwards and then pressing back into the toes and the foot. Then come back to neutral, and we're now going to lift that left leg off. Try and keep a straight line from your hip to your foot. You will need to squeeze your glutes on here to keep it in place. This is good. This is where we build the muscle. And then inhale to bend that knee and pull it into your chest. Exhale, send the leg all the way back out. It might help to keep the toes pointed here to keep that leg really strong and straight. Inhale to crunch the leg in. Bring your knee as close as you can to your chest. And then exhale, send it all the way back. This time we're going to bend up the knee, bring it into our chest, and we're going to plant our foot in between our palms. Don't worry if you need to actually pull the foot. It's completely normal. It's quite a difficult maneuver to get the hang of. So then we're going to wiggle our back foot and our leg a little bit further back so that we are in a low lunge position. We want our knee stacked on top of our ankle. You can stay here if this feels enough for you. Or if you want to, you can come up and place your hands on your hips, or you can place your hands onto your thigh. What we want to focus on here is on this right side, our hip flexor at the front is getting a really nice stretch. It might feel a little bit sticky because our hips generally get quite tight if we're sitting down for quite a long time. Our hip flexors are the bits that get the tightness. So if it does feel a bit sticky, you can take an inhale and then exhale to relax into the stretch. And each time you do that, it will slowly open up the muscle and release the tension. So if you're down to the floor, we're going to come all the way up to place our hands on our thigh and then come up slightly higher so that we're at a bit more of a right angle with our legs. Inhale to take the arms up. And then we're going to twist towards the left side. So take the arms all the way over and look towards the left side. Staying here for one more deep breath. And then we're going to take the arms to frame that front foot and take our left leg all the way back, coming to a child's pose. So your toes want to be touching with your knees wide out to the side, and then sink your hips all the way down, dropping your chest down to the floor. Taking 2 more deep breaths in your child's pose. And then when you're ready, spread your fingertips wide and come all the way back up to your all fours position. So our knees underneath our hips and our wrists underneath our shoulders. This time we're going to spread the fingertips really wide for our strong foundation. And then take the right leg all the way back, extending the right leg out and keeping the toes and the ball of the foot down to the floor. Slowly rock backwards and forwards here, feeling the change in the weight as you push it towards your wrists and then towards your foot. Keeping that back leg straight and strong. And then bring it back into the center. And then this time extend the right leg all the way back behind you, keeping that leg in one equal line with your hips. And then inhale, we're going to bend the knee, bring that knee all the way into our chest and push away from the floor. Exhale to extend the leg all the way out. And then inhale to bring the leg in, knee to chest, pushing the floor away from you. Exhale, leg goes back strong and straight. Inhale, this time bring it into your chest, the knee, And then plant or wiggle the foot between the palms. Take your left leg a little bit further back and keep your hands where they are on the floor, or coming all the way up here for your low lunge. Making sure there's one straight line between our knee and our ankle. If you have sensitive knees at all during any point in this practice, or in this position it's a bit painful, you can grab a cushion or a blanket and just pop it underneath your knee, just to give it a little bit more cushion or support. We want to feel our left hip flexor opening up here. Staying here for 2 more deep breaths. Remembering that if it does feel sticky, take an inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the nose and sink a little deeper, and feeling it open with that exhale. If your hands are down to the floor, wiggle the front foot slightly back and come up so that you have a right angle between your legs. Take an inhale to raise the arms overhead. And then we're going to twist towards the right side. So twist your upper body and then let the arms go out to the side in line with the shoulders. You can stay here, or you can sink a little deeper into your hips. Staying here for 1 more deep breath and feeling the glutes fire a little bit to keep you in position. Then when you're ready, bring both palms to the front of the mat. And we're going to step our right leg back to our tabletop. And then what we're going to do is take our first down dog. So tucking your toes under, keeping your hands where they are, fingers really spread. Send your hips all the way up to the ceiling. Bending the knees as much as you need to here. So what we want to focus on is having a nice straight line all along our spine. We don't want to be too archy, and we don't want to be too rounded. We want to keep our spine nice and straight, and if this means that you need to bend the knees, that's completely normal. And at first, down dog can feel really tough, but it does become a resting pose when you get more used to the movement and to the yoga practice. So don't worry if this actually feels quite tough right now. We're going to slowly step our feet towards the front of the mat, taking as many steps as you need to and coming up onto the fingertips whenever you need to. So if you take the palms to the floor and bend the knees as much as you need to get your hands down to the floor. Alternatively, if you have some blocks, you can always place your hands on some blocks to give you a bit more height and a bit more space to make it more accessible for you. So bending the knees as much as feels good here. And then as slowly as you can, we're going to roll all the way up to our standing position. Your head should be the last thing that comes all the way to the top. Maybe rolling your shoulders back. Maybe you need to just wiggle your legs and shake them out for a moment. We're going to take our Tadasana pose. This is mountain pose, and this is our standing position in our yoga practice. So what you want to do is come to the top of your mat. Some teachers will say toes touch and heels slightly apart, but it's whatever feels comfortable for you. For some people that's not accessible. So it's absolutely fine if you want to take your feet hip distance apart, just to give yourself a little bit more space. And then we're going to roll the shoulders back 1 more time and place the hands down by our side. If your mind wanders during any of this practice, just gently bring it back to focus on what you're doing or where you are. Gently open the eyes, and we're going to go through the Surya Namaskara A, which is the yoga warm-up. So this is to build some heat within the body and get us warmed up for our practice. So feet hip distance apart in your first position. You're going to inhale the arms all the way skywards. If you can, get your palms to touch. Flat palms, keeping the tailbone tucked under, and lean slightly back. And then exhale, you're going to fold all the way down to your forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to here, all hands on your blocks. And then inhale, we're going to come up halfway. So we want to have a really flat back here. Arms can hang here, or they can place on your shins. Then we're going to exhale and bend our knees as much as you can. Plant the palms down to the floor and take a big step back to your high plank. Spreading the fingers really wide, pushing through the shoulders here. Then drop the knees down to the floor and untuck the toes. We're going to come and shift our weight ever so slightly forward, and then slowly bending the elbows and lowering your chest down to the floor. Inhale to pull the chest forward into your baby cobra. So you're keeping your hands where they are and you're pulling your shoulder blades back. Then exhale, we're going to tuck the toes under and send our hips back to our downward facing dog, just like we did a moment ago. Keeping the knees bent, really focusing on that straight diagonal line from your spine all the way down to your wrists. Then take an inhale and walk your feet towards the front of the mat, coming up onto your fingertips whenever you need to. And then we're going to come to our halfway. So we're focusing on a flat back here. Then exhale, your palms go to floor and you come back to your forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll up. Hands come all the way up again together for a slight back bend. And then exhale, come back to your standing position and place your palms down by your sides. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times so that our body gets used to the movement and we know where we're going. So, inhale to lift the arms overhead, palms touch, lean slightly back. And then exhale, palms down towards the floor for your forward fold. Inhale to come up with a flat back, palms to shins or to floor. And then exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, step all the way back to your high plank, pushing through those shoulders. And then drop the knees down to the floor, untucking the toes, dropping the chest slowly, bending the elbows all the way down to the floor. Inhale to pull the chest through, up to your baby cobra with your bent elbows. And then exhale, tuck the toes under, send the hips back all the way up for your downward facing dog. Maybe this time your knees can straighten slightly, or maybe they're bent just where they were before. Take an inhale through your nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale and walk your feet slowly towards the front of the mat. Coming up to your halfway lift with your flat back, and then exhale, plant the palms to the floor, bending the knees. Inhale, roll all the way up, palms touch overhead, and exhale, bring those palms all the way back down by your side. One more time, we're going to go through. So when you're ready, take an inhale through the nose, bringing the palms to touch and arms overhead. Exhale, Bending up the knees and folding all the way down to your forward fold. Take an inhale and come up halfway, pulling the shoulders back, flat back. Exhale, palms down to floor, fingers spread. Take a step back to your high plank. Drop the knees down. Bend up the elbows and shift the chest forward and down, all the way to the floor. Inhale to roll and pull the chest through, pulling the shoulders back. And then untuck the toes, sending the hips all the way back for your downward facing dog. Bending up the knees as much as you want to. And really making sure that those fingers are spread and each fingertip is pressing into the floor or the mat. Then when you're ready, slowly walk your feet towards the front of the mat. Coming up to a halfway lift with your flat back. Then exhale, palms down to the floor. Inhale, slowly roll all the way up. Palms touch and arms meet overhead. Exhale, bring the palms and arms down by your side. Good. First yoga warm-up, tick. So, we're now going to go through one of the standing postures, two of the standing postures actually, one of which is Warrior Two, which is a core pose that's in pretty much any yoga sequence you'll ever go to. So we're going to come to stand the front of our mat, bend up the knees slightly, and take the left leg a big step back. Come up to a high lunge, so your toes are pressed down to the floor, your ball of your foot is into the floor, and your heel is off. The leg is really strong and straight, and your arms are up high. Sink your hips down into the mat. It might take you a little bit of time just to wiggle and get a comfortable stance here. And then when you're ready, we're going to straighten both legs, and we're going to turn the left foot so that it's facing the short edge and the back of the mat. So it's at 90 degrees. This right foot stays where it is, and then bring the arms out in front of you, to the side of you, in line with your shoulders. And then we're going to bend into that right knee and sink the hips down. This can be quite a strong pose actually, because we need to use quite a lot of muscles here to engage. So we're going to make sure that we can see our big toes, because if we can't, it means we've gone too far. So we want to make sure that we can see our big toes and take that knee out wider if we can't. We don't want our knee to collapse inwards. We want to use our bum cheeks to pull it out to the side. And then we want our arms to be in line with our shoulders. And we're going to gaze towards this middle finger. On the inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg. And now we're going to take triangle pose. So with triangle pose, we're going to shift the weight forwards and reach that right arm really far forwards. And then we're going to drop the right arm inside of the shin and bring the left arm overhead. We don't want to collapse down. We want to draw that top shoulder back so that our chest is towards the side. And we're gazing, if we can, to that top hand. You may need to grab a block and use your hand on a block, and that's completely fine. And then when you're ready, come all the way back up with straight arms, straight legs. Turn that front foot to face the side of the mat. And then take the back foot, your left foot, to face forwards. So we're going to do Warrior Two on the other side. If you need to give your arms a shake, you can. Quite strong. So, arms out to the side in one straight line. Back foot at 90 degrees facing the short edge of the mat. And then your left foot facing forwards. Bend up that left knee and then look down. Can you see your big toe? If yes, great. And then if not, just take that knee out a little bit wider so that you can see your big toe when you look down. Making sure that the tailbone is tucked in. It's not stuck out and our bum's out. We want to tuck it in. And holding strong for a couple more breaths, gazing towards that middle finger. And then inhale, we're going to straighten. Really reach that left arm all the way forwards for your triangle pose. And then dropping that left arm down towards the shin and reaching the right arm overhead. Making sure that we're not collapsing and that we're pulling that right shoulder back and opening up the chest. Or maybe using your block to take this pose. Then when you're ready, come all the way back up, straight arms, straight legs. And we're going to take our left foot to face the side of the mat, then our right foot to face the front, and then windmill the arms all the way down to the floor, taking it through to our high plank. Fingers spread wide, dropping the knees down, untucking the toes, bending the elbows and dropping the chest down to the floor. Inhale to pull the chest through, pulling the shoulders back, and then exhale, taking it through to your child's pose this time. Big toes touch, knees wide, and drop the chest down into the mat. And then when you're ready, just walk your hands towards you to come up onto your knees. Taking the legs out in front of you, so just swinging them around however feels most comfortable for you, and stretching them out in front of you. We're going to flex up the toes here, so point the toes up to the ceiling and press your hands down into the floor. Notice that if your back rounds here, we might need a little bit more height. So you can come up and sit onto your block to give you a little bit more height and a bit more space. Or we can sit down onto the floor, and then we're going to raise the arms overhead. Exhale and take the arms out in front of you, maybe trying to grab the toes, but that's quite an advanced position to grab the toes. So you can just bring your hands onto your thighs, or if you have a strap or a dressing gown strap, you can loop it round and pull on it to keep a straight spine. It doesn't matter if you're literally up here or if your chest is all the way to your legs, it doesn't matter. Taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, place your hands behind you and make your way all the way down to lie onto your mat. Your legs can be straight out in front of you for your Shavasana pose. This is our final resting pose here, and the deep relaxation. Or maybe if you want to take the soles of your feet together for this pose, that can also be nice for some people. Whatever feels good for you today. We're going to just let the feet fall out to the side. And let your hands just curl naturally. There's no specific way to do this pose. It's just all about that deep relaxation. I want you to notice and see if you feel any different from the beginning of this class. Does your body feel any different? Maybe a little bit looser, a little bit less tight. Does your mind feel a little bit less busy? Maybe you've forgotten about that thing you were worried about briefly. Staying here for a couple of deep breaths. Nothing to do, nothing to think about, just relax. And then when you're ready, just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And then however is comfortable, we're going to come back to that seated position, just like where we started the class today. Gently close the eyes and place the hands wherever you like. Well done for getting on your mat today and clicking on this class, because it can be scary. Trying something new. Well done for concentrating and listening. Bring your palms together to your heart center. Thumbs just touch your heart. And gently bow your head. Thank you for joining this class with me today. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel like you know a little bit more about the yoga postures now. I'm going to do 4 parts of this series, so there will be 3 more videos. So I will upload the next video next week, where we'll go into a couple more yoga postures and another one of the warm-ups as well. So keep an eye out for that one on my channel. But well done for joining, and I hope you have a really lovely rest of your day.